I'll show you how it's done. Shazam!
Hey, yo, welcome back, YouTube. This is Underdeveloped. Ty Nick here. We cover everything movies, TV, hopefully games, and other stuff in the future. Today we are covering the movie Bullet Train.
Yeah, it just came out. Very recent. Sorry,
Yep,
Pitt and everything.
we saw it Friday. Today is Sunday, and we are covering it. Bullet Train is directed by Mr. David Leitch, or Leitch. Okay, so Mr. David Leitch has directed films such as Deadpool 2, Atomic Blonde with Charlize Theron. He directed
Hobbs and Shaw.
Fast and Furious, spinoff.
And he was also producer on many other things, like the John Wick trilogy.
Yeah, he produced the John Wick trilogy and probably going to be the fourth one too. So we see a pattern here. He likes to direct or produce things about like assassins and shit like that. So.
Yeah, he's a pretty, as far as I'm looking at his credentials, like, he's pretty one note, but he's pretty good at what he does.
Yeah, like I like Nobody. The John Wick franchise is pretty fucking good.
Deadpool 2 was a good movie.
Deadpool 2 was good. Not sure if it was better than the first one.
Brad Pitt's character, Ladybug, he just shows up on this train. Like, he just has this very simple goal, and he has this very simple goal through the entire movie. Just get the briefcase and get the fuck out of there. But every time he goes, he's like, meh, he tries to leave. He always gets stopped by someone, because there's a whole bunch of other stuff happening in this train, too. Kidnappings, assassinations, revenge, a whole lot of different plot lines kind of converge together in this, like, really violent, fucking train. Like, it's just crazy how all this shit gets intermingled, and especially when you further go on, you learn all of it is connected. Like, it's like woven really well together.
And also, in midst of that happening, we have two assassins, these vicious ass motherfuckers, Tangerine and Lemon, or Lemon and Tangerine, and they are who has like this affinity of these Thomas the Tank engines. I mean, Thomas the Tank references. Ironically, they're doing it on a Bullet Train, which I think is tacky. I did not care for those parts, but anyways, like they're trying to do something. I was not buying it.
The thing is, I actually did kind of like the Thomas Tank.
You did?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I mean, going judgmental. I'm sorry.
It did, because like I liked how they wove it into his deductive reasoning as to why Joey King is actually an evil bitch.
I honestly, the whole Diesel shit, I honestly thought it was kind of contrived, if I'm being honest. They was trying to do something, and this really did not work for me.
I mean, it was random, but it wasn't that much more random than half the shit in this movie.
Yeah, but I thought it was tacky. I did not care. They was trying to do something that a lot of movies do, but in a much less clever way. You chose on a train movie. Fuck that, dude. Fuck that. You know, so it's like everything is interwoven in this whole whirlwind of this shit and violence and this. I don't know how cops and swarm this train already. All the violence when nobody notices like the massive fights and gunshots and stabbing.
Honestly, the one thing that bothered me was the fucking lady on the train who kept looking back at Ladybug and Lemon as they fought. And like, dude, at a certain point they're just all bloody as shit. Why aren't you like? Stop shushing them and do something.
It was part of the joke with the shh, because the quiet train. I got it for when you kill it too much to the point where like you've seen these dudes obviously fighting and bleeding. Is
at that point I'm like, okay, that joke is outside its welcome.
Yeah, dude. It
was fine the first time, but then like it just got more and more obvious what's happening.
Stop it. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah, I think that was the worst.
And honestly, if they had like the trouble with the authorities, that would add like another element too of like, you know, shit.
I feel like a lot of people who struggle with this movie is that it just kind of throws a lot at you at like really, really fast paced information dumps.
It took me like, and if I can't lie, for the first, yes, I don't pay attention sometimes, but even when I was like the first like 10, 15 minutes, I kept going back to him. I was like, okay, what the fuck is going on? Because I'm trying to catch up. Like,
well, even then, I don't even blame you this time because I heard some people in the theater talking and they seem confused too.
Yeah, so I can ask them questions, but the questions help me understand the movie. And once I got the perspective of the movie, I'm like, and things started to sink in. I'm like, okay, cool, I got it. Let's chill.
Like, this is the kind of movie where you're only really going to enjoy it if you're comfortable with just receiving and processing lots of information at once.
You gotta take dumps quickly.
If you're that kind of person, this is a movie then you'll probably enjoy. Yeah. If you're not the kind of person, this is not for you.
Dude, it's high octane with some humor, fast paced as shit, fast paced action sequences, over the top action sequences.
Oh yeah, especially by the end.
This is like, you know what I mean, like a high adrenaline movie. Like, it's not. This is like
Oh yeah, this
Michael
is
Bay could have probably directed the shit. Like it's like,
if it was Michael Bay, there'd be even more explosions.
yeah, it would have been even over the top. But that's like definitely this kind of movie. But it's done a little more tastefully than his movies though. But
yeah, like the humor is actually not awful, and like
yeah.
they are Michael
It
Bay
was awful.
movies.
It wasn't my favorite part of it, but it wasn't awful. My favorite scenes is with Hiroyuki Sanada. He also was Scorpion, and he did.
Yeah, he plays the elder.
And he's
here.
literally almost in every Japanese American movie you can think of. Honestly, if you really think about it.
Yeah,
He's
like
been in everything.
Yeah, like he's like the male Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, but he's actually Japanese and not Malaysian who plays other Asian culture. I can't stand, but because it's super racist. Like, oh, they is, so people are gonna buy it. So racist.
I really like Brad Pitt in this movie because it feels like this movie wasn't written for him. It feels like it was written for a guy that was like maybe a third of his age.
Yeah. But I mean, he rocks. He was great for his age.
No, I know, but I'm just talking about like his dialogue. Like he doesn't talk like a person his age.
Like he really sounds like a millennial. Like,
yeah, he talks someone closer to our age.
Yeah, like a millennial hippie. Like I'm trying to find this.
Yeah.
But he's not really one. He's trying to be one. That's why it works too.
Yeah,
but
honestly,
he's really
I like
like
it a lot.
old school dick. You know what I mean? But he's trying to be zen. Like he's trying to.
Yeah, he's trying to really find.
He's trying to be different. You know what I mean? Like
he's trying to be hip with the kids.
He's trying to be with the kids, but he's really not.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like that's my favorite Brad Pitt roles. Like, just his crazy, off the wall, offbeat stuff.
I mean, I love him in Inglourious Basterds. That's easily one of my favorite performances with him.
I love him in 12 Monkeys. Like
12 Monkeys, yeah, 12 Monkeys was really good. That was like easy one of his best performances. I liked him in Interview with the Vampire. That's one of the more dramatic roles I thought he was good in.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Vampire. I liked him in 7. He was right in 7.
Yeah.
Benjamin Button, all this stuff. I mean, he's Brad Pitt. I mean, he's not really a bad actor, but
yeah,
I like him more with a little bit of humor attached to him.
Exactly. I like him more when he's. I like his more offbeat stuff than his traditional Hollywood stuff so much.
Anyway, so this movie for me, I dug. Like I dug this movie. Didn't think it was great, but I did dig it. It tried to allude to themes of like basically like controlling fate,
destiny,
like controlling your own fate. Like the main villain played by Michael Shannon, White Death, he was somebody that was trying to control his fate.
Yes.
Because this whole thing's basically one big scheme to get all these assassins to kill each other because he blamed them for killing his wife.
It's his ultimate revenge.
His ultimate revenge. You know what I mean? Like he's trying to play God and manipulate sequences and hope everybody plays their parts. But then Brad Pitt is somebody that just basically has shit, doesn't control anything, and just has a bunch of random shit happening to him. You know what I mean? That he can't control. But somehow he ends up winning because like he has some super luck, just like Joey King's character, Prince. I hate when villains do this. They always like speeding their whole plan instead of just carrying it out. And I think that's really corny and tacky.
Honestly,
like, dude,
I think it's even worse in this movie because every other time they've had stuff like that, they've done it through a montage sequence.
Exactly.
So why not do this through a montage sequence too?
Freeze frame, and then show. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, especially since the movie has very good montages.
The movie fucking thrives on that shit. It literally lives off of that shit.
Yeah.
So I do a freeze frame and then let's catch us up like how you've been doing. Why not? But yeah, man. I mean, there's nothing really else more to say about I think this movie. If you're looking for a fun time with a little bit of substance, you know, what I mean, with a decent amount of substance. For what this movie pretty much is, a huge blockbuster catastrophe. You know what I'm saying? Like for that realm of shit, like chaos, like a chaos blockbuster. This is pretty much as substance heavy as you can go. And I did kind of dig its whole thing about like fate. And I thought it brought us some interesting, things. It brought up interesting conversations.
I feel like they could have done more with it. I didn't think it really did enough to make it that interesting to me.
They didn't do a lot with it, but I think they did make a point.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like we talked about this after the movie. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't know if I get going too much into it, but I think basically they're like we're pretty much all slaves to fate at the end of the day. Like things play out the way it's supposed to. Things correct itself. Karma was one aspect of fate, and that plays out heavy in this movie. What you give, you get back. What's in the dark comes to the light. Like that's pretty much what this movie was bouncing off of, and I think that's pretty much the story of existence and time and like chronology of events. You know what I mean? Like things happens to work out in a specific way. Darkest before the dawn type shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yes, I thought the movie kind of we think about they could have did a little bit more. But that add a whole other element to the movie and probably would have added a lot more.
Honestly, I feel like
feel
like the really heavy theming of fate was just kind of an excuse for really unlikely things to happen at certain points. Because sometimes it felt a little forced.
Yeah, I agree. It better if they didn't do the fate thing too much, right? Just like once or twice is like a little like tidbit. instead of like drawing the movie in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that would have made it a little more effective. Because then you could be like, oh yeah, they talked about fate a little bit, so I see how fate worked out here. But now when you're drowning in it, now I'm based on points like that where it's like, all right, dude, you're bringing up too much, and you didn't really tell too much to earn talking about it so much.
You do,
it's like
you're talking about a lot, but not.
Yeah, it's almost like preaching to the audience, which we hate.
Yeah, it's like you're saying, if anything, it's like being a politician. You're saying a lot, but you're not really saying anything.
Mm-hmm. So the movie lacked a lot from that aspect as well.
Yeah.
So overall, let's get down to the scores. My score, cut and dry, I'll say like a 78. I think that's a fair score.
Jesus, that gave me chills. Did you read my mind? Fuck.
Yeah.
That was the exact number that popped in my head.
Yeah, I'm thinking like 77,
right
78. I mean, scores are finite, dude. Scores are like definitely, like, scores is like, you know what I mean? Pretty much everybody, if you put a score, everybody's going to agree with you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially if the things we said about this movie, that's pretty much the score to give it. You know what I mean? Movies can be quantified, you know what I mean? And I honestly think that's like the perfect quantification for this movie. Yeah. Because it isn't good enough to be 80 plus. No. But it isn't bad enough to be like below a 70 either.
Oh, definitely not.
And it's decent enough. It has some good points in it too to elevate a little bit to the higher 70s.
Like, it's a solid action comedy.
Yeah. Like,
you're going in for it? Yeah. If that's what you're looking for.
Exactly.
Then
if you're looking for some entertainment, it's good. You know what I mean? It's not the best movie in that category. No. But it's, you know what I mean? It's a good watch.
It's definitely not the best movie I've seen this year. But it's definitely not the worst either. Yeah. Like,
I'll give it like a... But anyways, later, guys. Stay tuned. Peace out. Much love. One love. Later.
Peace.
Peace.